So thank you for coming back to our online journey to being. This is Nicole. I'm Radiant Soul Nicole, and I'm a soul embodiment guide. And if you're not sure what that is, I help you get out of your head into your body so that you can learn to live from your heart and become more of who you truly are. And I am so happy to have you here with me today for our second session. Last week, we talked all about alignment and getting in alignment and how it's so important when we connect mind, body, soul, and heart so that we can, it takes away just all the so much worry and so much pressure that gets you out of your head, because when you're connected and when you're in alignment, you are able to live in a place where you're constantly being fed the next breadcrumb of what it is you need to do. And if you trust it, it can take away so much worry. Yeah, so I would love to know. So I'm just going to read the comments here now in on Zoom, and then I will look on Facebook. Um, yeah, so how you're doing, if you did the homework last week, if you noticed a difference in trying to connect to your beingness first and how that rippled out through your day. And yeah, did that change your day? Did you come up against any resistance for it? I know for myself, this past week, I have been setting my intention in the morning of how I want to be, doing my little energy activation. And with that, it has been such an amazing, I felt so great. And it's actually a really intense time on the planet right now. So I'm kind of surprised because I'm usually really sensitive to the energies, and they often make me feel really tired, wired, just like I can't do anything. And this week I've been feeling like, and I feel like a roller coaster, like I'm riding a roller coaster of emotions up and down. And this week hasn't been my experience, so I'm just grateful for that. But often it is. So if you are feeling that, it's totally normal, and no judgment on yourself. I think it just depends on how all this new light is landing for us. We are in this period right now called the storm, that one of people that I follow is calling it that. And it is a storm of light flooding down on us, and light contains information. And we are like, who we are is being illuminated right now, and it can be not nice to see sometimes, because there could be parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at, that we don't want to see or acknowledge, because we might consider them to be unlovable. And it can be really intense to experience all of this and to have these new insights and clarity. And yeah, so if you're feeling any of that, I'm just holding space for you. This period does end in a few weeks in mid-May, and that will be the beginning of the new paradigm that we are all working towards creating, co-creating this new earth. And so it's like we're playing a video game, and we're at the last level. We're at like the big boss of the game, and we get to, and that big boss is ourselves, looking at ourselves. And as we get to go through this process, we get through it, and God, I'm hoping life will be so much easier after this. It's not going to immediately shift overnight, but it's going to be, it's going to shift rapidly, I think. And the world as we know it is going to be so different within a year from now, within 2 years from now. So just keep holding this space and just trusting that it will get better and it won't be so intense like this forever. I certainly feel that. So, Shannon says she's doing and being well today. She's felt really tired in general since late last week and this week too. And yeah, and Sabrina is being well. She loves starting her day with gratitude and intention. Nia's been sore this week, so I'm not sure what that is about, but I've been listening and resting more. Awesome. That's so important. When your body is hurting, it's speaking to you. It's telling you to listen, and it's wanting your attention. And that's what we're all going to talk about today. So when we don't get stuck in that story of like, oh my God, why is this bugging me again? Why doesn't this go away? I just want this thing to be like over with and done. And you're just creating this extra layer of resistance. But when you're able to just listen and hear like, oh, this thing's just trying to get my attention. This is where I need to focus on right now. It makes it so much easier to move past that situation, because really that listening, we're just listening so that we can hear where we need to go next, do what's in front of us, focus on what's in front of us, and um, yeah, and the healing comes from there. So I'm just going to open up Facebook now on my phone so I can see the comments there if there's anything, and we're good. Awesome. Okay, so let me try to mentally remember what I had in my presentation next. Hmm. Actually, before we do that, let's just take a little breath together, getting connected into this space. And if you're watching live or on the replay, you can do this with us. And even if you're not here right now, you will get to experience this with us. We're working outside of space and time. So just closing your eyes, letting out a big sigh. When you feel like you've emptied, you're just going to notice what your body's feeling like right now. We are going to take a breath in through our nose, filling up our legs, filling up our bellies, letting it out like you're blowing out a candle. Letting that out. We are going to now breathe in through our nose, filling up our legs, our belly, and our chest. Breathing into your heart space and holding it at the top for just a minute. And blowing that out really slowly, like a candle through your mouth. Just noticing yourself dropping here more in the present moment. And now we are going to breathe in to our belly, our chest, all the way up to the crown of our head. We begin through our nose. Holding and then blowing that out like a candle. Dropping your awareness down into your heart space so that you can listen not just from your mind level, but from your heart as well. And slowly just moving your body a little bit, coming back into the space. And just having a drink of water. All right. I'm going to check one more time to see if my presentation is working. And if not, then yeah, still not. Okay. Then I'm going to wing it. All right. So letting me know how you're feeling and being now after that little dropping in, just checking in with a word. And when I was doing that and leading that, actually, Sabrina, it made me think of you and um, yeah, it made me think of you. And in today's session, we will maybe try to see what we can listen and get that information about what's going on with your knee. All right. And so we were going to talk about listening, and I had a beautiful quote by Marianne Williamson, and the quote said that we are, there's a whole long quote, but it started out with saying, love is what we're born with and fear is what we learn here. And if you're ever unsure of when you're listening of what you are and what isn't you, what's the programs, just remember that you are love, you are um, mm, You are that infiniteness, and the fear is the mind and the ego trying to keep you safe. And of course, we need to be safe and not do like reckless things, but the ego will try to keep us safe by telling us that we, can't follow our heart. We can't do those things that we really want to do, but we have this fear holding us back. And listening is a key component into discerning what is the mind and what is the other levels. And um, mhm, I'm just feeling into that. My goodness. All right. Well, at least I do have and my notes of my email about what I was going to send today. So we're going to observe who you are without judgment. And so that is the ego wants to keep us in stories. And when we are in that story level, it is kind of probably keeping you in victimhood. And an example of this is so today is the 2-year anniversary of me getting a concussion. And at first, I was unable, I was like, why did this happen to me? I can't believe this is a thing. We literally had 1 month in between my husband breakthrough or breakdown, which was a breakthrough eventually. After a year and a half of being unwell, I had 1 month and then I hit my head, and now I've been here for 2 years. It was, yeah, I was like, what? I didn't know how to move past it. I was like, why is this happening to me? I was very upset because it changed my life. I couldn't do the things that I love to do anymore. I couldn't hula hoop. I couldn't even go for a walk around the block at first without my heart rate getting to like 170 beats a minute and getting super dizzy. And yeah, I was really having a hard time functioning. I was pushing through. And that is a lot to be, my life changed suddenly overnight. And we feel like we have so much control about what goes on in our lives, and we really don't. Things can change in a blink of an eye. What we have control over is our thoughts, our beliefs, our behaviors, and how we respond or react. And if you're not living consciously, though, you don't have control over those, but we get a choice. We can choose to have control over those things. And um, yeah, so it's such an important thing to have a choice, because if I didn't have a choice, I would probably still be in that victim state where I felt like, why did this happen to me? My life is ruined. I can't enjoy my life now because I can't do the things that I used to do. And I wouldn't have the motivation or the inspiration to try to heal, to get better, to do more things. Um, so it's so important to have that choice. And yeah, just give me one moment because I see a message coming in from my dear friend Nina letting me know that it's not working on Facebook. So I am just going to ask if Nina, would you be able to go into the email and post the Zoom link so people can join for me if you're watching still? I would totally appreciate that. Yay, thank you. um, silly technology. All right. So yeah, so having that choice. So I'm wondering if there is a time in your life where you felt like you didn't have a choice, and how you realized and how empowering it is when you do get to have a choice. So if there's anything that's coming up for you on having on that. And the reason that this is all tying into everything is that with a choice, we um, get to that place of being able to have a choice and realizing that we need to learn to listen. We need to listen to what's going inside our minds, in our bodies, and then connecting to our intuition. And when we're able to connect to our intuition, then we have the ability, like I said earlier, when we're in that aligned space, we don't need to worry anymore. It takes the worry out of it. And so, how I can explain this is, like I talked about last time. So, I have always used for like the past, since 2013, I've always used words of the year. And when I first started doing them, I was picking them from my mind level, and it was kind of going okay. And then as the years progressed, the words just dropped in for me. I intuitively received what the words were. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. This year I'm going to explore freedom. This year I'm going to explore flow. And this year I'm going to explore whatever the next thing is. And it always actually ended up working out that whatever the word that I was exploring that year was like it gave me all the tools that I needed to be able to handle the next challenge in my life. And then once I'd be able to zoom out and see that higher picture of things, I realized that I was listening to my higher self who was giving me the information that I needed so that I could handle the next level of expansion and growth that was coming into my life. And so it's just by following those breadcrumbs, it really changed everything. But we are taught and conditioned not to listen to ourselves, not to listen to our intuition. We look outside of ourselves for answers. And that comes from so many things. Like when we were little kids, we maybe were told that um, we needed to finish all the food on our plate, and we couldn't. And so we stopped listening to our hunger cues, and we stopped listening to our body, and we were told that, oh, it's cold outside, so you need to wear a jacket. But maybe we weren't cold, but we're like, oh, I guess I don't have autonomy over my body. I'm not going to listen to myself anymore. I must be wrong. Or we were told maybe that um, we were told that, oh, there's another one that just slipped my mind. Oh, we were told that stop crying. It's not okay to cry, or not have these like specific, like it's not okay to have these emotions or feelings, or you don't need to be scared. There's nothing to be scared about. And I'm guilty of saying that to my daughter. And then I stop and remind myself that, no, to her, there is something to be scared about. And if I tell her that there's nothing to be scared about, then she's going to learn that she doesn't, what she's feeling isn't valid, it isn't true, it isn't real, and her emotions aren't okay to feel. So, what's so important is to honor that, honor the emotions, honor the feelings, honor the thoughts. They have a purpose, they're trying to keep us safe. And then we can just be in a more neutral place to be able to observe them and feel them and do what we need to do with them so that we can heal without getting into that big story. So I'm curious if there's anything that has come up for you all that is watching live or on the replay of like just little things that people told you that caused you to look outside of yourself that you're aware of. Those things happen to you. I think for me, especially the like, stop crying, you don't need to cry right now. I'm like, but I'm just a kid and I don't understand how to manage my emotions. And this is real for me right now. When you're allowed to cry and you're allowed to feel your emotions, yeah, Nina says, being told I'm too sensitive for sure. And so when you're allowed to cry and you're allowed to feel your emotions, if you've ever watched a toddler, let them do that. They just move through things so quickly. They have all the feelings and then they move on, and then they're fine. They might be like playing again in a couple minutes because they're happy and they had the emotions. Emotions are energy in motion, and they're there to be felt. They're there to be expressed. But because we've been told that it's not okay to feel them, then you learn to avoid them either by like numbing through social media, maybe not when we were kids, but now, um, social media, food, alcohol, drugs, sex, anything. We can avoid lots of different ways. You can avoid by helping other people and not dealing with your own problems. Like there's infinite ways to be able to do that. And that is just a coping mechanism. So how I find neutrality by dealing when I'm dealing with people is remembering that pretty much I think we're all wounded children. We all have these wounded inner children within us, and they are just trying to get their needs met in a way, and they just consciously haven't been shown how to do that in a way that's useful, or not useful, in a way that's healthy, because we weren't taught it. We don't know any better. We're doing the best that we can with the resources we have at the time, and that's where that piece of forgiveness comes in. Because having a daughter, it's so much easier for me to see the innocence of a child, and I can apply that to myself. um, so much easier, and I'm so much more compassionate because I can see that I still have that little 4-year-old girl within me that just wants connection, that just wants love, to be seen, to be heard, and to be validated for who I am and what it is that I'm saying, and to be not made wrong for just having feelings, because we all have feelings, and they're not good or bad, and they're hard to feel. So today we are going to do a little bit of stop. I feel like I'm jumping apart now. I'm doing pretty good at remembering my presentation without having the PowerPoint here, guys. um, so I'm just going to drop in to see what else. Maybe I wasn't supposed to have it, and it was just supposed to come from my heart and not from the PowerPoint. But it was funny because on the topic of listening, last week I was guided from my intuition to not do a PowerPoint. And I felt like, oh, afterwards, I'm like, maybe I should have. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it this week. And then now it's not working. So it's just funny how those things work out. So I feel like there's another important piece that I wanted to say about listening, but maybe it'll drop in soon. So, what I want to invite you to do now is to talk about um, is to practice and practice feeling things in your body. So that's one thing I had. I had a chart about the clair senses. So there's way more than I actually even knew that there was, but the clair senses are the ways that we feel things, that we receive information beyond our like five normal senses. So I often hear things. I hear songs that come to me from spirit. I can sometimes see things in my mind's eye or just get flashes of something when I'm really connected into spirit and source. And when there's different ways, there's ways that, like, if you touch an object, some people actually get information that way. If you taste something, you can receive information that way. You can also get information just by knowing, like, you just all of a sudden you know something, and sometimes that one doesn't happen for me as much, but you can have access to all of these, and we all have access to all of these senses. Some are just more naturally developed than others, but it starts with, first of all, just, I think, listening to your body, coming into the mindfulness meditation so that you can come into that witness space, that observer place, without putting stories and judgments on things, because humans are judgment machines, and we're constantly judging everything as good or bad, but really everything is neutral. And when you remember that everything is neutral, we it just makes things so much easier. And to get to that space of neutrality, we want to be able to look at it and practice. Like noting is a great practice to do if you're like to meditate. Um, just noticing the thoughts that are coming up, and instead of like, and when you do it, when you practice it, you can say thinking, thinking, thinking. And then that way you're not getting caught in the story of like, oh my God, I'm thinking again. I'm such a bad meditator. I'm never going to get this. Why do my thoughts not stop? Well, meditation is not the purpose of meditation is not to make your thoughts stop. It's to be able to become aware of them and to witness them and to be able to simultaneously hold them and also be present in your body. At least that's what um, my meditation practice is all about. And that doesn't always happen. Some days my nervous system is really wired. Uh, I'll, I don't get to that place. So it's so important also when you're practicing listening to have a calm nervous system. And if you don't, you can do things like gargling is actually helpful for calming your nervous system because it activates your vagus nerve, which activates your parasympathetic nervous system. So if you're ever feeling really stimulated, tired, or wired, tired, and overwhelmed, you can practice gargling for as long as you can, like a couple minutes. If you can keep doing that, it's actually kind of hard to do it for a full minute, but you can take little breaks. Another really great tip that I love to calm your nervous system is just to bring your hands like this and put them on your forehead and then put your thumbs on your temples. You can see like that and hold there like that for like a minute. And that really helps. That brings your blood to the front of your brain and helps calm your nervous system as well. So those are just some little tips to calm down your nervous system, because if your nervous system is wired, you're in your head, you're not able to be in your body. So you want to bring yourself into your body and then bring yourself into your body. And then that's where we can start listening to our bodily sensations. And that's how I feel things the most. I get truth bumps when somebody says something or I hear something or something just resonates as truth for me, as like truth with a capital T. I feel it in my body, I get tingles. And I also have visceral feelings in my body. And I'm sure that you have the um, I'm sure you've all felt before a time when you're like, you're going to do something and you probably felt something in your gut say, no, that doesn't feel like a good thing to do. And maybe you did it and maybe you didn't. But if you didn't listen, you probably didn't work out very well. I imagine our body's always trying to communicate with us. And yeah, all the reasons I talked about, it can be hard to do that. So I want to start by just practicing feeling energy in your body. Oh, and Nina says, wow, that feels instantly calming. Yeah, it's so amazing. That's an energy medicine technique I learned from Donna Eden doing she calls it the oh my God points because it's like when you're stressed, you often be like, oh my God. You naturally do that anyways. So I thought that was funny. So let's just start feeling energy. We are going to rub our hands together and we're going to make an energy ball. So you can do this with me. And then really hard. And then take your hands apart. And I immediately notice some resistance. I feel like there's an actual ball of energy inside between my hands that I'm playing with. Move it, meld it, mix it. Feels like it wants to come out here actually. I just always think this is such a cool practice. And if you ever want to, like, if you don't know how to do Reiki, you can even do this and just rub that energy all over your body. It feels like such a nice little energy bath for me. Mm. And can you feel that? How does it feel for you? It was very nice for me. That's a fun way just to get used to playing with energy, to start feeling things more physically in your body. And then the other thing that is so important is practicing, um, developing your intuition by practicing just with little simple things like saying, seeing what it feels like in your body when you say things like, my name is Nicole. For me, that kind of lights my body up because it seems like it's truth to me. So once we can learn to access what our truth is for these little, in these little ways, then we can apply that to our bigger life. So try that for yourself. And you can say, my name is a name that's not your name and see what that feels like in your body. You can try saying, like, my favorite food is this. And if that's your favorite, like, and then, say your favorite food and see what that feels like in your body. And then try saying, like, my favorite food is something that's not your favorite food, something that you actually really don't like, and notice what that feels like in your body. And the more you practice those things, the more you're able to connect with your intuition, with your inner knowing, your inner learning. And you can even apply that to, like, I've actually started doing this for all my supplements. I used to just take everything that the naturopath gave me, and well, spending a lot of money to be honest. Now I always check in the morning. Sometimes I hold the bottle and I say, body, would you like this right now? And I can feel if it's a yes or a no. And if it's a yes, I take it. And sometimes then I'll also ask body, how many of these would you like right now? And it tells me, and I don't have to take everything every day. It's so interesting. I just never gave myself that much power before. It's really like this practice of listening gives you so much power and so much choice in your life that you may have given away to other people before. I gave it away to the naturopath. And, I'm here teaching and giving you ideas and practices, but take what you want. Take what feels like truth for you. You don't have to, live by the gospel of everything that I say. I am just here to share ideas, and you get to explore on your own and take what you want and leave what you don't. So those are a couple of fun little practices. And mm, yeah, so let me just check in now, trying to remember the next thing that I wanted to do. Wondering if anybody has any questions or if anything is needs further explanation or clarification we talked about already. And while I wait for that, I'm just going to have a little sip of water so you can do that too. I think we're going to start now a little soul journey. So this is going to be a journey to help you. So a soul journey is like a meditation, but it takes you on to higher levels of consciousness. And yeah, so this journey is going to, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do yet because these are channeled. They come through me as I lead them. I do like to pause a lot. So if you like, oh, I don't know if she's there still, I like to pause and have like time for integration and allowing you to feel the experience. So I encourage you to, mm, I'm not saying anything, just drop into your experience, feel what's going on in your body. And we're going to try to listen to mm, connect with a message from our body, from our hearts, and our mind. And we'll do a little bit of journaling after this too, um, get those messages. So, all right, I'm just going to move back a little bit and readjust myself so you can close your eyes, be comfortable. Breathing in through your nose and letting it out with another sigh. Keep your breathing as it is. I'm going to invite you to bring awareness to different parts of your body now. No needing to change them, change what's happening in your experience. We are going to just practice witnessing what is going on with us right now. So we're going to start bringing attention to the top of your head. Noticing any sensations, any feelings there. Bringing attention to your forehead, your eyebrows, to your ears, to your eyes. Bringing attention to your nose. If you notice yourself having any thoughts or judgments, just practice that noting practice we talked about, and just see yourself thinking. Bringing attention to your cheeks, your right cheek, and your left cheek. Bringing attention to your right jaw and your left jaw. Bringing attention to the back of your head, the back of your neck, the side of your neck on the right, the side of your neck on the left. Bringing attention to the front of your neck, the top of your right shoulder, top of your left shoulder, your upper right arm, elbow, your lower right arm, top of your hand, palm of your hand, your right thumb, right index finger, right middle finger, ring finger, right pinky. Noticing the sensations and feelings. Bringing attention to your left shoulder, top of your left arm, left elbow, lower left arm, top of the right left hand, palm of the left hand, your left thumb, your left index finger, middle finger, your left ring finger, and your left pinky. Bringing awareness to your upper chest, to the back of your upper back, your right shoulder blade and your left shoulder blade, all the way down your spine. Bringing awareness to the right side of your body, the left side of your body, now to your pelvic bowl, your right hip, and your left hip, top of your right leg and top of your left leg. Bringing attention to your knee on your right and your knee on the left. Bringing attention to your right shin and your right calf, your left shin and your left calf. Your right ankle and your left ankle. Your right foot and your left foot. Your right big toe, right second toe, right third toe, fourth toe, and right fifth toe. And bringing attention to the left ankle, the left foot, the left big toe, left second toe, left third toe, left fourth toe, and the left pinky toe. Bring awareness to your whole body now, and noticing the shifts that come, listening, not trying to change anything, just being aware of what is present. And from here, I invite you to take a big breath into your heart space. We're going to drop our awareness now consciously. It may already be there in your heart, but we're going to drop our awareness. We're going to ride a pebble, drop a pebble down from our crown of our head. We're going to watch that drop all the way into our heart. And seeing it landing as if it's landing at the bottom of a well. It's a little rippling out of water. It's just sending a gentle wave of energy through your body. That is gently cleansing your energy field. And from here, I'm just going to invite you just to have some gentle touch to your body, rubbing your legs perhaps or your arms. Mm. Asking your body what it needs in this moment. Waiting to receive an answer. Answer could come in the form of a thought or a feeling, image. Asking your body what it needs more of. And asking your body what it would like less of. Now asking your body, there, hmm, there's anything it needs from you, and anything, sorry, asking your body if there's anything that you have been ignoring or not listening to, knowing sometimes in these journeys an answer will come right away, and sometimes it takes a while. Like everything, it's a practice, and the more you practice listening, easier it gets to hear the answers. Now we're going to connect. I'm going to have you imagine heart, your heart space. Have you imagine a cord dropping from your heart all the way down deep into the center of the earth. And see, feel, visualize, or imagine that cord dropping all the way, going through all the layers of the earth, connecting you deep into Mama Gaia. Now we're going to raise that cord, allow that, allow Mama Gaia energy to rise up that cord, to fill up our bodies for sustaining, nourishing energy. Mm, And I just want to say thank you, Mama Gaia, on your birthday. It's Earth Day today. We're going to imagine now this energy filling up our heart space and then a cord rising from our heart all the way up to source, rising through our body, through our crown, up all the way into space. And visualize that cord rising up into space, into a big ball of energy, noticing what color it is. We're setting the intention to connect to our highest selves so that we can hear what the next right step is for us. This is how we connect to the aligned action we need to take in our lives. We can get that next breadcrumb. Feeling that connection deep into Mother Earth, deep into Source, and have both of those energies flow into our heart. You can increase your breath and bring those energies down, pulling it up from the earth, down from source. And you can even use your hands if you want. We're just setting the intention and making it so that we are in alignment and connection to our highest self. We want to be in connection with our highest self so that we can get the most purest information. And just asking your highest self right now, what is it that you want me to know today? Asking your highest self, "Mm, what is the next right thing for me to do?" Allowing yourself to receive, knowing that information flows down with these light codes. You can imagine these codes just flowing down into your energy field. You can receive the information that you need to process it all right now, coming into your field so that you can embody it. Now, finally, we are going to connect to our heart space once more. Breathing into your heart, asking your heart what it wants you to know today, what its message is for you. Noticing if there's messages are the same all around, if they're different. Noticing if the messages feel any different in your body when you're connecting to your highest self, to your heart, with your body. And also knowing that if you're not really getting much of anything, that's okay too. It's such a practice. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Remember, the most important piece to all of this is trusting what is coming through, trusting your imagination. Imagination is the gateway to intuition. Your mind is getting in the way at all. Just thank it for trying to keep you safe. Just come back into this space. I just want to give you a few minutes to jot down any notes, any messages that you want to remember. Slowly coming back into your body, pat your body, bring yourself back into the present moment. Slowly open your eyes, blink them open. taking a drink of water if you want, wiggling around, taking a couple minutes to write down anything, any of those messages that you want to remember, and light ground them in. You know when you are done. And if you have any messages that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear what came through for you. Yeah. Hmm.
Did you want us to write it down or speak it?
You can speak.
Okay. I got a message just to keep my heart open. It felt so good to be so intensely present in the body. That was a very, very cool meditation. I enjoyed that.
Hmm.
And yeah, so keep my heart open and keep up the self-care. So I've put more effort into the self-care and listening to what my body needs over the last few weeks with all the energy coming in. So that was kind of a nice confirmation.
Glad that you're listening and giving yourself more care because yeah, we definitely need it right now. I've heard somebody describe it. This is the master class. We're no longer in like I want to say the dress rehearsal, and I'm thinking of the Tragically Hip. No dress rehearsal. This is our life. It's a good thing it's all Canadians on here because you understand what I'm saying. Uh, yeah, so we're in the master class of life right now. So important to double down on self-care. That's such a beautiful message to listening to your heart. When my messages from my soul and my heart came through, they were both just like, keep going, you're doing such a great job. They're just like my cheerleaders today, which is so nice.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you very much. I must go as well. I've got another class that has started, so I wanted to say thank you very much. I'll catch the rest on the
For
replay.
popping on tonight, Shannon.
Thanks, Nicole. Bye.
Awesome. Well, if anybody else wants to share anything, please do. I am, yeah, and if it wasn't like an amazing experience for you, and let me know that too, because sometimes it's not always an amazing experience. It's can be a challenge and it can be frustrating. And mm, the piece about the intuition and imagination is so important. We want to be the yeah, again, we need to get out of our head and into our hearts so that we can mm, trust what's coming through. And that's such a huge, important component to this. How many times have you received a download or information and we're like, oh, this isn't real. I'm just like making this up. It's not, it can't actually be true. Um, it's just all in my head. But our head, that is where our imagination is in our head and we need to have our imagination. So it's so important to like play and have fun and that and be grateful for when you do get those messages coming through because that's what creates even more of that information. And like everything else, it's a practice. So the more you practice, the easier it gets. More you unwind old beliefs and things, it gets easier. So I know when I first started into all of this, it was super difficult for me to get the information, to trust what I was getting, and I just started to be able to collect evidence that I would get information and it was helpful. So it's so exciting to just continue and play. And that's the explore part of who we are is exploring with curiosity who we are. We don't want to dig. We're not archaeologists. We want to explore and understand ourselves more. But the more, if we're digging, and we dig too deep, we become like, you can't dig yourself out of a hole. You can keep digging and digging and digging, and you can get stuck down in those lower into that space. But if you're exploring with curiosity and having fun and playing and just being curious about what's showing up rather than in that judging place, that really helps create a space to explore even more. That was another slide I just remembered. Mm. Well, beautiful souls, I am so excited. I hope that was a good experience for you. I am so excited to share that I have a special invitation for you. So we have one more session left of this next week, and we will be diving into loving who you are, accepting and forgiving who you're not. And we're going to tie it all together, I believe, with a beautiful dance and connecting more into your beingness. And this is all a practice, it's all an experience. And no matter where you're at in your journey, if you're just waking up or just diving into spirituality, or if you've been at it for a little bit, it's important to continue. There's always more layers to explore, and it's so nice to be held in a container to do that. So that is why I'm so excited to be offering another journey that is happening starting in May. I'm just figuring out the dates because I was figuring out the dates for it, but it'll be an 8-week journey, and it will be a ceremony. So similar to like what we've been doing here, there'll be yeah, there'll be a little bit of a teaching, there'll be some sort of embodiment exercise, and that is like a meditation or dance or soul journeying, and then some self-awareness and self-discovery practices. I'm going to also record some bonus modules that you can watch and to go even deeper to this discovery of who you are. And there'll also be a journal. You get to receive my human being journal that I've been working on, which is a daily reflection journal. It will help you yeah, just connect to your whole self and your whole beingness, connecting with how you want to be in the morning. There's reflection in the evening, and then weekly reflections. And I just love this process because it really helps me not just mindlessly go through my days and weeks. It helps me check in and, observe what happened, see what worked, see what didn't, and, adjust as necessary. And there'll also be a meditation that you can download as well so that you can use that in between the sessions and everything. So that is going to be starting in May. I don't have the presentation to show you any more information about it right now, but you are on my mailing list, so you can find out more about it there. And that will be early bird pricing of $177. So if that sounds like something that is interesting to you, let me know and I can make sure that you get the information. I'm so excited to take people on this journey. I know that for myself, when I've been held in a container, so much transformation has been able to occur um, because of the container. And I am diving into it, and I love holding space for people for transformation. So I'm so excited, and I will share more with you soon. Yeah, so what else is coming through? Let me check one more time, see if my presentation is working. Oh, here it is. Let me see. I'm going to share my screen now and see if there's anything else that I missed. Right. Here's the beautiful quote by Marianne Williamson. Love is what we're born with, fear is what we learned here. The spiritual journey is the unlearning of fear and prejudices and the acceptance of love back into our hearts. Love is the essential reality and our purpose on earth. To be consciously aware of it, to explore love in ourselves and others is the meaning of life. Meaning does not lie in things, meaning lies in us. So it's this journey back into our hearts, out of our heads and into our hearts. And yeah, I just thought that was such a beautiful quote. I think I actually did cover a lot of our stuff because we are not our thoughts, we are not our beliefs or emotions, we are the witness. The human being is the witness. And choice is so important because we don't have control over emotions. We don't have control over other people. So this is like a little recap now. We don't have control over what happens to us. But we do have control over our thoughts, our behaviors, and our beliefs, and how we respond instead of reacting. So when we practice this mindfulness and we can take away this, we can add a little bit of space in between how we respond and like a stimulus and how we respond, that really can change so much where we're not just reacting to everything that's coming at us all the time. And then we can start listening. Yeah, listening to what's going on and observing from a place of neutrality. As we said, everything is neutral. And then we want to detach from the story because that helps us. There's like a layer of resistance that detaching from the story creates. But we still have to, we want to be neutral, but we still need to feel our feelings. And that can be so hard. We can't escape from them and we need to learn. And so, yeah, this is really what ties us all in. This is what's so important. And I found with my clients, with myself, that what is so hard is to feel our feelings fully because they hurt. I know sadness is so hard for me to feel. I can feel sad a little bit, but I don't want to fully feel it. And some days I just feel so much heaviness in my heart. And it's difficult because it's just not nice to feel. And if I allow myself and just breathe with it, not trying to change it, not trying to, um, yeah, not trying to make it different or wrong, just accepting it for being there, feeling it, and then it actually moves. But it's hard to be able to do that. And yeah, we did talk about all of this stuff, so that's really awesome. Now I don't recall though. If I talked about the studying story, did I tell you that? The story about how I think I did, about how I thought to study when I was doing a test. Yeah, I did say that, that I thought I should be relaxed, and I was told by the test that I should not be. I should be on a desk, and that wasn't what was good for me, but I learned to listen to other people. Um, and I just want to leave actually with one story of an example of when listening, how it created a massive change for me. So, on the Aries new moon that we just had, I was starting to do some journaling because I always like to, yeah, just start something new. I have to leave something behind. So, I started to feel kind of a yuck in my stomach. And I was like, oh, what's that? Instead of judging it and being like, oh, what the heck is this going on? Like, I was able to just be curious with it. And as I was journaling, I started to like just poured out of me all of these belief systems that I had that I wasn't aware of, um, at this level, anyways. That I was judging judging myself, and my perfectionism was really coming up. So I was super scared to show up and fail, and I didn't want to make a mistake in business, which is not a very good trait to have as an entrepreneur. Um, and it was like all these different belief systems were popping up. And as I cleared them and forgave them for being there and forgave myself, I was able to clear so much, and it actually changed the whole way of like how I'll show up in the world now because I was so hmm, like it was not okay to make a mistake, so much so that I didn't even want to show up because if I made a mistake, then it wasn't worth it to even try. And it was like this whole new level that I wasn't even aware of. So just that little thing led to so much. I was like up journaling for like till midnight that night. And it it changed so much because now that I don't have that fear holding me back, I'm going to show up differently. I can, feel free to make mistakes and, whatever you get to explore whatever your own experiences are that are holding you back. But that was what was showing up for me. Oh, and here's the different types of clairs. So clairaudience is clear hearing, touching, clairsentience is clear physical feeling, clairvoyance is clear seeing, claircognizance is clear knowing. Sure to say this one, clairgustance is clear tasting, clear empathy is clear emotional feeling. And I just wanted to touch on this one that's so important. Um, Probably if you're here, you're likely an empath. You can feel people's energies. And one of the biggest tools that is so helpful for me is to ask myself, is this even mine? Because you're going out in public maybe and connecting with other people's energy and taking other people's stuff on. And if you can say, is this even mine? And hear the answer, no, this is not, then it's such a huge, powerful tool. And I'm able to say, if it's not mine, I say, then return to sender with love. I do not need to take this on. I send it back to whoever it was with love. And I often feel better, like almost immediately. Such an amazing practice. And then clear salience is clear smelling. So that must mean when you're able, you get smells as an information. So we did this. If you want some additional questions to explore, what message does your body, your heart, your soul? We actually did that. How can you show yourself more love and compassion? That's another question. Mm, yeah. Uh-oh. Now my computer seems wonky. Oh my goodness, you guys. I think this presentation is just not working for me. It looks like it's gone to like, oh, there we go. Technology. All right. So this week, your own work, if you choose to accept it, is to practice listening without judgment. So listen to yourself without judgment, practice listening to other people without judgment, and start a conversation with your body and with your heart and then ask what you need and then do what you're being asked. So I will, yeah, you can try those on if you'd like, in addition to continuing starting your day with those alignment exercises, and starting your day with gratitude and connecting into how you want to be. This just adds another layer of bringing that awareness into your life and into your day. And it's so powerful. Here's more information about my program. Let me know if you're interested in that. I'm super excited to go on that journey. And yeah, I think that's it for today. If you have any questions, let me know. I see that Nina and Sabrina said that they love that, and that's so powerful to ask, is that is mine? Yes, it is, because literally most of the time it's not mine. And I don't need to know who it is, but I just want to make sure that I'm sending it back with love. So I don't send it back as the anxiety that I might be feeling or the heaviness in my heart that I may be feeling. I just ask that it be turned to love and sent back so that other person can deal with it, because we don't need to carry everybody else's shit. We get to mm, we get to just worry about ourselves, and we can care, but we don't need to carry. And I love that as a sentiment because that is so important. There's so much going on in the world and we can't carry it all. Just do the things that you are passionate about and focus on those little things, focus on changing yourself, because that does ripple out into the world. The more that you work on yourself, the more that you heal yourself, you show up differently, and that ripples out into the world. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I think then we will, I'll see you next Thursday for our session on love. And I'm so excited to get even deeper into the heart with you next week. And yeah, here, look out for an email from me this week to do some further integration in all of this. And thank you so much, Nina and Sabrina, for being here today. Much love, everybody. Talk to you soon.